Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes hit back at Roy Keane after criticism of his performances while wearing the armband this season. Former skipper Keane has been vocal in his criticism of Fernandes during a tough season for player and club. The Irishman used the word imposter when discussing the Portuguese international, who has worn the armband while failing to lift United out of the bottom half. Things have picked up of late under head coach Ruben Amorim, though. Fernandes scored a hat-trick as the Red Devils eliminated Real Sociedad from the Europa League and was at the heart of things once more as Amorim's team beat Leicester on Sunday. After laying on the opener for Rasmus Højlund at the King Power Stadium, United's number 8 also scored the final goal in a 3-0 win. And, after the victory, he gave a pointed response in the light of Keane's February comments. Obviously, I know you're talking about Roy Keane. Fernandes told Sky Sports when asked about criticism. I've said it before, I have huge respect for Roy Keane. I think he was one of the best captains the club has had, an amazing player for the club, won basically everything for this club. It's the way he thinks, it's the idea he has about me as a player, as a captain, and I have to respect that. Obviously, I do the things in my own way to try to be the best, not captain, but person and teammate, as I can. I do it every day. I try to be an example in everything I do in the training sessions, on the pitch, in everything I do, but not everyone will like that. Not everyone will think in the same way, and I respect every opinion of everyone. And as I said, I have huge respect for Roy Keane, and I accept there is a lot of margin for improvement in my game, in my leadership, in everything I do, even in my own life. Speaking to Sky Sports after the match, Amorim was asked what Fernandes provided on Sunday evening, what we see every week. But the most important thing is the work he puts in every week, the boss said of his compatriot. Amorim also gave an update on defender Aiden Heaven. The teenager left the field on a stretcher early in the second half, adding to United's growing injury list. It's hard to know because we have to evaluate during the week, Amorim said. He already played well against Arsenal and Real Sociedad. Today for me was the most difficult game for him because we expect him to relax a bit, but he was so focused. Mason Greenwood will still play for Jamaica, according to Steve McLaren. The FA Chief Executive Mark Bullingham confirmed recently that Greenwood, who has a sole senior England cap, has said he intends to switch allegiances to Jamaica and link up in a reunion of Manchester United old boys with McLaren. However, there have been growing questions since over Greenwood's desire to commit to the Reggae Boys, with the Jamaican Football Federation still to receive the required documents it needs to complete the process. Jamaica had been hoping the switch would be concluded in the coming months, so Greenwood can be part of the squad that plays 2 friendlies in the UK before it begins its World Cup qualifying campaign in June. There was also hope that Greenwood would be a key member of the CONCACAF Gold Cup squad. Amid the hold-up, none of those things are any longer certain. Yet McLaren, the ex-England manager and former Manchester United number 2, who has been in charge of Jamaica since last year, remains very confident. "We are in contact all the time, with him, Greenwood and his family," he said. "I am very confident he only wants to play for Jamaica. It is up to him when he moves forward with that. The ball is in his court." Greenwood has starred for Marseille this season, scoring 15 times for the French club after signing a 5-year deal following completion of a permanent Manchester United exit. But he was dropped for the weekend loss to Lens, with OM boss Roberto De Zerbi labelling him inconsistent and saying if someone trains badly, they won't play, no matter what their name is. De Zerbi said last week that he expected more from, announcing "I wanted him here. I said it over and over again," De Zerbi said. "He was the first player I contacted, even before I signed for OM. I had already spoken to his father. No one can have more respect for him than I do. But that doesn't change anything. I expect more from him. He has to do more, because what he is currently showing is not enough. If he wants to achieve his ambition of becoming a champion, he has to be more consistent, sacrifice more and be more determined." Diogo Dalot has told Sir Jim Ratcliffe that Manchester United's players are prepared to sacrifice themselves to make the club great again. At the end of a week when United's outspoken co-owner accused some members of Ruben Amorim's squad of being overpaid and underperforming, Dalot admitted his uncompromising message has resonated strongly inside the Old Trafford dressing room. But the Portuguese defender insists that being ready to suffer for the cause has always been the price that comes with wearing the famous red shirt. "I think the history of this club is about sacrifice and fighting against the world," said Dalot ahead of United's trip to face Leicester. "It's about sacrificing yourself and each other, every moment on the pitch and being together with the fans to create the energy we all feel in Old Trafford. This is the history of the club. If you want to be successful, you have to have that desire to try to do everything on the pitch. Whether you like it or not, the attitude has to be there. It is clear that when we are 14th or 15th in the league, we are not doing what we should. If we want to put Manchester United back on top, we need to do much better. Ultimately, this club will only progress through what we do on the pitch, so we are all responsible for the future and the momentum. We know that we have that responsibility, but we want to take it. The pressure is high, but we are Manchester United players for a reason." Amorim has been unable to win games on a consistent basis after replacing Erik ten Hag with a mandate to bring a new playing philosophy to the club. Dalot believes United are now on an upward trajectory after a 6-game run, where the only defeat has been the penalty shootout loss to Fulham. But he has told the Ineos group that has been put in charge of football operations at the club that having to navigate bumps in the road are a consequence of the changes they are bringing in. Dalot said, "If you are a top footballer, you need to be able to change things quickly. But obviously it does take time because we have been playing in the last few years in a different way. You can see this is a period of change, especially since Ineos have come in. The club wants to go in a direction. They want to rebuild Manchester United and put Manchester United back on top. I hope in the next couple of years we can go there. I think you are now seeing a much better team than a couple of months ago." He added, "When we talk about needing time, we aren't saying that just to buy time. I think it is something that is going to happen. Obviously, it is difficult when you play for a club like this because you must improve by always winning. The pressure is always high to win every game, and when results don't come, it's difficult to show progress. But I think in the last couple of games you have seen something different. There have been different styles of play, but overall we are improving, I think. It's something everyone can see, but results will ultimately show our position." Paul Pogba has been backed to return to the highest level by France head coach Didier Deschamps, despite the former Manchester United midfielder's inability to find a club since completing his doping ban. Les Bleus chief Deschamps has been in contact with Pogba in recent weeks after the World Cup winner served an 18-month suspension for ingesting a banned substance that led to a heightened level of testosterone. He was initially handed a 4-year ban, but the Court of Arbitration for Sport reduced it upon appeal, finding that the offence was not intentional. Pogba, who turned 32 years old on Saturday, was officially allowed to return to action last week, though he would have been free to train with a new club since earlier this year. However, he is still waiting to agree a deal with a new club. Rumours of a third stint with United have carried little substance, and he has recently been linked with a move to Major League Soccer, including David Beckham's Inter Miami. Pogba is determined to play for France again, and Deschamps is willing to keep the door open once he can prove his form for a new club first. He's supposed to be able to play again, but he doesn't have a club. "We're talking, and I won't tell you the details," Deschamps said ahead of France's 2-legged UEFA Nations League quarter-final against Croatia next week. Yes, he has the ability and the mentality to return to the highest level. It won't happen overnight, but for the moment, he hasn't made a decision. We'll see. Pogba has been intermittently sharing footage of himself in training on social media with a series of cryptic captions, and after his ban was reduced last year, he said, "Finally, the nightmare is over, and I can look forward to the day when I can follow my dreams again and again. I always stated that I never knowingly breached anti-doping regulations. I play with integrity, and I want to thank Court of Arbitration who heard my explanation. This has been a hugely distressing period in my life. Everything I've worked so hard has been put on hold. Thank you for all the love and support once again. I can't wait to get back on the pitch." Paul Scholes reckons Ruben Amorim would like to sign Martin Zubimendi after his comments about the Real Sociedad midfielder in midweek. Zubimendi, 26, has been linked with a whole host of top Premier League teams over the last 12 months and came close to joining Liverpool in the summer before deciding against the move at the 11th hour. It emerged back in January that Arsenal is likely to be Zubimendi's destination in the summer, with a deal close. And Scholes thinks Manchester United would also like to sign the playmaker after listening to Amorim wax lyrical about the Spain international on Thursday night. He's a top player that can change a team, especially in that position, Amorim said before United's Europa League win. He's one position that can read and block transitions. He's also the first guy in the build-up. I know the player really well. Everybody knows he's a top player that can change the team. After listening to Amorim on TNT Sports, Scholes speculated. From that interview, the manager quite likes Zubimendi. If we sell 3 or 4 players, we might be able to buy him, but tonight's a big night. Zubimendi is known to have a £51 million release clause in his contract. United are likely to be in the market for midfielders with question marks over the future of Christian Eriksen and Casemiro, but their financial situation is bleak. Amorim has broadly worked with the squad he inherited from Erik Ten Hag, with Patrick Dorgu and Aiden Heaven, the only senior signings made by the club in January. The club's chief executive, Omar Barada, insisted Amorim would have cash to spend this summer before Thursday night's Europa League success, even if they fail to qualify for Europe altogether. We speak to Ruben Amorim very frequently. Ruben has a good relationship with Jason Wilcox. They both share the vision of how they want to see the team playing. He continued, "It is about planning properly for the summer transfer window and having a clear idea of what players we want to bring in. We're making some big efforts to get us in the best financial position. Even if we're outside of Europe, I think we will be in a position to invest in the squad. Our ambition is to win tonight and win the Europa League and be in the Champions League, which is where I think we belong."